Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. You know, Xander, tries to get Eric to go along with this plan of, not telling Sarah about her baby, lying to her, and saying, all you gotta sit there and do is be with Nicole, say that you're going somewhere, whatever, and it'll give me time to think. And I'm sitting there thinking, Xander, you do realize that you are asking a priest to lie to someone about their deceased child. Like, I know he is scrambling like there's no tomorrow to try to make sure that he can either minimize damage to himself, because let's be honest, I don't understand what is his plan. I mean, even Sarah's mother doesn't like this idea. Hell, to be honest, I don't know why she actually kept so quiet as long as she did. But Eric calls him out. Erica's like, listen, the reason why you don't want her to know is the minute that she finds out, she's going to be pissed off at you and she's going to want to have nothing to do with you. You're not doing this to protect Sarah. You're doing this to sit there and protect yourself. And that was the thing that just annoyed me about this whole episode, with his storyline. Is him running around trying to get Eric to sit there and help him lie. And then he goes to Nicole's place and gets upset with Nicole because Nicole um kind of sent her on her way, like didn't really cover with the plan. And Nicole's like, no, I'm not going along with your plan. What are you, nuts? And he's sitting there being, well, just a jackass. And Rafe is like, yo, um, like, no, like, you're not going to sit there and come up in here and start yelling and talking to her that way. My whole thing is, I don't understand when Sarah got to the door and was like, she was looking for Mickey, this, that, and the third, saw Rafe and was like, oh, you're cheating on him with Eric, like, what's going on? Why, right then and there, you didn't sit there and you didn't bother to tell her the truth? I don't get that. I really don't understand that. She had an opportunity to sit there and tell her the truth, and she didn't. Now, I kind of placed that on poor writing because they wanted it to be where she found out the truth towards the end. Okay? But they just went about it in this very piss poor way. Now, eventually, Sarah runs into Eric. And, she's like, oh, where's Mickey at? This, that, and the third. And I'm sitting there wondering, is Eric really going to go along with this lie? Being a priest and everything like that. Is he gonna do it? No. He tells her the truth. And after running around town, he gets a call. When he's at Nicole's place, he gets a call from Maggie saying that she's not there. So he's racing around and everything like that. And he meets up with her at the Brady pub. And, at this point, he looks at her because, she's crying and, she's hugging Eric. And she turns around, looks at him, and it's like, how could you? And runs off. Now, Xander's all like, oh, well, thanks a lot. I'm like, I I don't even know what to say about that. I really don't. It makes me wonder, you know? It just makes me wonder about Xander, like Xander fans or whatever. Like, I see a bunch of people that like Xander, and I personally think it's really because of his looks, to be honest, because the fact that he ran around town like a jackass to try to cover up, you know, this whole, her not having a baby, and kept saying that he was doing it to protect her, was just stupid. It was just dumb. I mean, first of all, I don't even understand what kind of plan he was going to come up with. That's number two. Number one, you just got done dealing with a woman who's been lying to you for months. For months. You know how that feels. But yet he had no problems that they're doing it to the so-called love of his life. Makes you wonder just exactly how bad did you feel about, how bad you felt for him when Gwen did what Gwen did to him. To be honest, I, I really don't. I really don't feel bad. In the beginning, I did to an extent. But the same way he's doing with Sarah, it's just like, nah, bro. You deserve to be with a woman like her. And in so many ways, more than one. I'm not understanding Chanel at this point. She runs into Julie, and she basically tells Julie more or less that she kind of cleaned out her stuff, in the bakery. Now I'm sitting there thinking, does that mean that she's not, going to be working at the bakery anymore? After she talks to Julie about Paulina. But then she goes to Paulina, and it's like, one of the things that Paulina was saying is that, she's going to be in jail. She's going to be in jail for a little bit. She has other family, Big Mama and everyone else. And she talks about Miami. But, Chanel's like, well, I can't move to Miami. I have a bakery to run. And I'm like, maybe it's just me, but I felt like when she talked to Julie, it gave me the impression that she wasn't doing a bakery anymore. Especially seeing how she's no longer working with Ali, who was half of her partner. Um, so I don't know what the hell is going on with that. Anyway, um, she's upset that Paulina is going to jail. She could be going to jail for a long time, and Paulina isn't acting like it's not a big deal. But I'm not gonna lie, she kind of got me a little annoyed. She was like, well, you should be taking it more seriously, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I get it. You're upset, you're worried, you're scared. But just because you're worried and you're upset, like, I don't feel like she should be putting I don't feel like she should be trying to tell Paulina how to feel. Okay, that is just something that just annoyed the living hell out of me. It is, and Paulina was like, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to be wallowing and crying and all upset and stuff? Like, what is that going to do? Um, so it was just something that was just kind of annoying. But, she tries to assure her that, she's going to be fine and most likely she's going to take a plea deal and, she may not even go to jail. And, Chanel was just continuing to cry and be upset. And I don't know. Part of me was just after a while like, it's like I get it to an extent. But after about a good few minutes, I was just like, I don't want to sit there and say I was over it, like I'm being a dick or anything like that, but in some ways, I kind of felt like I was over it after a while. Before all that happened, Paulina sat there telling Lonnie, just let it go, let me sit there and take the rap for this. Now, Lonnie comes up with a whole bunch of reasons of why she doesn't feel that that's a good idea, mostly for the fact that she'll feel like she's a hypocrite. Having her kids grow up and stuff like that, telling them the difference between right and wrong, she's not going to feel comfortable with that, knowing that she will be lying to them every single day for the rest of their lives. She's not comfortable with that. She's not comfortable with the fact that she feels like she's going to lose Paulina and everything like that. So afterwards, she goes back to the hospital to talk to Eli. Eli was in the room talking to Abe about the possibility that Lonnie's the one that shot Ray and not Paulina. So she gets there, she sees Eli, and Eli starts asking a bunch of questions. She was like, in the beginning, he was like, why would you sit there and phrase it a certain way that you phrased it as far as, you know, um, I still can't remember it because it was just so many notes, but the way that she phrased it after she got back from the shooting and everything like that, it didn't really sit well. It didn't really make a lot of sense. And, at that point, Lonnie got upset and she started throwing an attitude at him. And I was like, boo, don't. I was like, don't go there. Okay, just don't. Nobody needs your little pissy attitude. And she's really all like, oh, I can't believe you're not there grilling me, this, that, and the third. I'm like, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Would you want Rafe to be sitting there grilling you? Would you want Eternal Affairs to be sitting there grilling you? Would you be sitting there having that sort of attitude with them? So don't sit there and don't bring that heat to Eli. Don't do that. Okay, because you already got him caught up in something one time, when you let Kristen escape. So don't even go there. But after a while, she does sit there and confess, and she's like, yeah, I'm the one that killed, Ray, and I was in shock, and that's why she said, that's why she phrased it the way that she phrased it. Um, but she's like, I don't really feel good about it. Pauline wants to take the rap, and Eli's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. You have more to lose than she does. And I just don't think it's a good idea for you to sit there and just confess at this point. He doesn't want to confess because he already looks at it. He's like, yo, you're going to go to jail for a very long time. Like, so all could have been avoided. All could have been avoided if you had just said, hey, listen, we're just going to make it look like he tried to attack you and I had to shoot him to defend you. Instead, and it's kind of odd. I mean, here's the thing. I get it. Her family members are involved. Her mother's involved. Her bio dad's involved. Her dad's on the ground leaking blood or whatever coming out of his head. So I get it. But I feel like as a cop, situations like that, you're trained to be more cool and level headed. You know? You're trained to be more cool and level headed. The fact that she let Paulina lie for her and didn't say anything, or was just like, oh, I'm just gonna not say anything, like she was in shock, it's like, how many times have you been doing stuff like this as far as like shooting someone? Being in that situation. I get the fact that it's her family, but at the same time, I'm just like, I felt like after a while, a cooler head should have prevailed. But again, we got to sit there and go with plot because plot makes a lot more sense than logic and common sense. So now, of course, it's this whole subplot with Julie coming in A's place. After trying to chastise Eli for leaving the hospital and just kind of walking off or whatever. Not being in bed rest or whatever. Comes in there and tells Abe, you got to sit there and tell Paulina. You got to sit there and tell her how you feel. Now we're all kind of looking at this situation like, you do realize that like, she's probably gonna go to jail. And he's also been in the hospital for quite a while. Well, not that long, but he's in the hospital for like a head wound, like a serious injury. And you're sitting there telling him, oh, well, she should just get out of bed and march herself all the way down to the police station and sit there and confess your love. I'm like, you do realize you're talking to a man that's lying in bed in the hospital, right? On top of the fact that Abe was like, yo, this is probably not a good time. But to be fair, this is probably the best time because we don't know how this whole situation is going to go with the trial and everything like that, and if her PTSD thing is really going to work. Now she got the lawyers just, and that's another thing. She was sitting there talking to Chanel about the fact that, hey, listen, my lawyers, they got this. This is what I paid them an extreme amount of money for. And I'm like, and you didn't think it was a good idea to pay your lawyer to, make sure that when you were in a room talking to Rafe, that you would, make sure that you don't say anything too incriminating. You waived the right to counsel at that part, but now behind the scenes, oh, they're gonna sit there and do their magic. Okay, sure. Hmm. I feel like that's about it for the most part. I don't think this was a great episode, but I don't think this was a terrible episode either. Like, I feel like there's certain episodes that you can skip and you'll be fine. Because nothing majorly happened except for the fact that Sarah knows the truth now. Which, to be honest, I'm actually really happy about. I'm glad they didn't sit there and try to, um, kind of span this out over maybe a couple of weeks or whatever. Because I would have been like, how are you even doing this? I mean, the only way that would have worked is if Xander would have convinced other people to lie. And to be honest, why would they lie for him? Why would they lie for him, or why would they lie to Sarah? Because they know that it's going to do more damage to Sarah than it will good. So, anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.